Happy New Day, everybody. Welcome back. So today we are going to talk about BEDMAS, order of operation, review a couple of questions. This is specifically for grade 8 and 9 math courses. So just a review, and then we're going to go through two questions quickly. BEDMAS or PEDMAS, whichever you say, which is fine, is the order of algebraic operations that we have to follow. And that is important because if you don't, you're not going to get the correct answer. So here it is. This is the question I got for you. Minus 5 squared plus 5 times, open bracket, 15 minus 5, close the bracket, squared, divided by 10. All right, so we're going to go through, and I have a couple of traps set up for you here that I want you to pay attention. So that's the first one. So this one right here, minus 5 squared. What do you think the answer to this one is? The most common mistakes that students make, all right? So negative 5 squared, but negative is not with 5 being squared. So only 5 being squared. So this actually is minus 25 because 5 is only squared. If there was a bracket around negative 5 like that, and then you square that, then that's you're right. Then that's positive 25, but it is not. So minus 5 squared is negative 25 because there's no bracket. You don't see any bracket around. All right, next step is, by the way, that says equal sign right there. And then next step is 5 times. Now we have to follow BEDMAS, right? BED is for bracket. So we have to deal with the inside of this bracket. So this bracket 15 minus 5, that has to be dealt with first. That's 10. And then what is 10 squared? That is 100. All right, we dealt with that one. Now the next thing we got to deal with is divided by 10. All right, so let's go through a couple of things. Number one is that BEDMAS operates from left to right for the most part, okay, for 99% of the time. Now, in the multiplication and division situation, right here and right there, if you actually go ahead and start with the right to left, you should get actually the same answer. So in here we have minus 25 plus 5 times 100 is 500, and then divided by 10, and then your answer, final answer, will be minus 25, or 1 before the final, plus 500 divided by 10, that's 50, and then your final answer would be positive 25. Now, if you go ahead and use the other method, that means instead of doing 5 times 100 first, you do this first. Okay, let's see what happens there. So we get minus 25 plus 5 times, now 100 divided by 10 is 10, okay, equals to, what would that be? Well, that's 5 times 10, that's 50, minus 25 plus 50, and you're still going to get 25. So case in point that I made just a few seconds earlier. Either way will be fine. So this is how you do BEDMAS using this equation, exponent laws. There is a tricky question or a trap I put in there, and that was trying to catch you off guard, but hopefully it didn't. Make sure you are paying attention to these two rules right here that we have, and then go from there. All right. All right, here's another question. Okay, BEDMAS again. We're going to follow BEDMAS rule. We've got a bracket, we have two brackets, we have a couple of negative numbers, we have a squared here. So let's go ahead and let's see what we can do with this one. All right, so let's start with what you can do. 2 squared right here, so that's 4. We can do that one. Then we have a bracket here we have to deal with. Minus 15 plus 9. What is that? That's negative 6. Very good. Nothing else we can do with the negative 2. Now we're going to rewrite this so that it looks better, so that it looks simpler. So let's do that. Negative 3 times 4 minus 5 times 3. And then we have negative 6 then divided by -2. Very good. So now what we're going to do, remember BEDMAS. BEDMAS or PETMAS, doesn't matter. Whichever you want to do. P, I'm going to put a P there. All right. So let's go through. We have a division here. We have a multiplication here. Okay, we have a multiplication here as well. All right. So we're going to go through from left to right, and let's see what we can do with this. First, -3 times 4, that's -12. Then there's a -5. We can't do anything with that. But there's a multiplication here, and there's a multiplication there and division there. We can actually go through this from left to right. All right. So we can say, so there's a negative there. I'm going to leave the negative alone. That's what you got to do. All right. We can do that, and then we're going to come back to it a little bit later on, because remember, this 3 also in here is a multiplication right there outside of that bracket, right? So we can deal with that too and then go through it. Now, doesn't matter which way you do it, it's going to work out, but stay consistent. -5 times 3, that is -15. Okay, and then you have to multiply that by -6 and then divided by 2. Well, -6 divided by 2 is -6 divided by -2 is 3. So I can replace that with 3. So it would be -12 minus 15 times 3 now. And then final answer now, -12 minus 45. And then you put them all together. That will be -57. Okay, now let's double check, make sure that we have done this correctly. Now if you do it the other way, you should still get the right answer. All right, so that means if you do this first, and let's see if that's true. So here it is, -12 minus 5, so -12 minus 5, and left the -5 alone, and then I said times, and then 3 times -6 divided by -2. 3 times -6 is -18 divided by -2. -18 divided by -2 is 9. And then -5 times 9 is -45, and then you go through it and you'll get the same way, same answer. Now, there's one more. What if you multiply these two first and then divide by -2? Will that work? Let's check that out. So here it is, okay, -5 times -18 is +90, and then divided by -2. I just wrote it down here. So isn't this fantastic? You follow the same rules. Basically, you get the same answer all the time. So we'll end up getting -57, -57, -57. So we did these questions 3 ways, and it still worked out perfectly. Excellent. So practice, practice, practice. And if you found this useful, subscribe, like, make comments, make sure I know if there are any topics or lessons that you want me to go over. Share, and I would love to hear from you. Until next time, keep well.